First of all, as with everything, before we start touching bits of medical equipment that interact with patients, we clean our hands. Right, so the oxygen is coming down that oxygen pipe. It's going into this machine that has its air compressor, and it is now going to come out of here. So we start here, and this is where the gas is coming out. Now I have put all my equipment over here, which you can see now, and you can see it's made up of pipes, long pipes, fat pipes, middle pipes, short pipes, electrical cables, and then all these little connector things that look important and easy to lose. This is the humidifier, which we'll find out a bit in a moment. That is the water bottle that gives us the pressure, and then this is the heating wire and a little fishing hook thing that we use to get the heating wire through. Okay, so as I keep saying, gas needs to come out of here, and we need a pipe. You will find that only one pipe fits on there, and the pipe that fits on there is the fat pipe. Okay, so the gas is coming out here. The next destination for this gas is the humidifier. This is the humidifier. That's the right way up, and that is upside down. Okay, and to put the water in, we put it upside down. And so we'll take this blue thing off. Now, it is important to see that in there is a seal that stops the leaking, and the reason I'm emphasizing that is because if this water leaks into this machine, the machine is broken. Okay, so seal is good, and we pour in some sterile or distilled water. Now this is where you need a bit of experience and competence. Put this back on reasonably tight. Don't put it so tightly that the next person's going to break it when they're going to take it off. Don't put it so loosely that the water's going to come out and ruin our machine. So you pour your water in, and then you turn it the right way up, and you'll see there are two lines here, and the water level needs to be there between the top line and the bottom line. The manufacturer also recommends just leave this on a surface, I think you can just about see that, for a minute and make sure it's not leaking. Okay, we're emphasizing this point. We don't need lots of water going into the machine. So we've done all of that, and it's not leaking. And this is the humidifier, and it goes on the machine. Do you see this big round metal plate that goes on the other big round metal plate? There we go. You could do it with a little bit more grace and less clunkily than I am. Okay. Any idea where that pipe may go? Yes, first prize. Okay, so the air is coming down the oxygen, the gas is coming down the oxygen pipe, going out here into the humidifier, and then it needs to come out this exit point, and it's going to go into the pipe to the patient. Now it's in that pipe that the gas gets warmed, and it gets warmed by this heating wire. And so our next job is to get this heating wire inside this long pipe. Okay, we take this little connector and put it in the end of the long pipe, and now we're going to put the hook all the way down the long pipe. Now this is easier if you have a friend like I do, many friends, and we push it all the way.
Yes, I don't have.
Oh, one big push, well done. And now we hook this one. Okay, and let's see the skill level. Give me some. Okay, so we pull this one straight,
Yes.
and I pull.
Wait.
Wait, and I pull, and I pull. has to be said, this is going much better than when I tried to do it by myself. You've pulled the wire the whole way through. You can just unhook it by pushing, twisting, and you can pull the hook out. Right, this is now ready to be connected to the humidifier. Pro tip, make sure it comes out vertically. Thank you. Okay, that was fun, but we did it. We now have the heater wire inside this pipe that is going to the baby. But the heater wire still needs to be connected to the power by this cable, the one with the yellow. So the bottom end goes in here, and the yellow end goes where the yellow things are here. And this is where I have a fun question for you. Do you think we just poke them in? No, we do not just poke them in, because inside they have very, very delicate little probes, and when those little probes get bent, it is broken, and when it is broken, we cannot use the CPAP machine, and the little 900-gram baby who's going to be born tomorrow is not going to get CPAP and is going to die, which is why we don't just poke them in. There are two little ridges on here, and those two little ridges have to be aligned exactly with the two little grooves here. Similarly, there is a little groove on this one, and that has to line up exactly with the little sort of tongue thing pointing out on this one. I will show you some photos, but this is very important. This is one of the places where this most commonly gets broken. In fact, often there isn't really a need to take this off. I think once this is connected in here and connected up here, it would be quite reasonable just to leave them there, because every time someone pokes, myself included, the chance of bending one of those pins and rendering the whole thing inoperable increases. And same thing with this blue one and this blue socket. Do we just poke it in? No. We look at these little ridges and we line them up exactly with the little grooves. Et voila. And we tighten that guy up. Okay, so who is this blue electrical cable? This blue electrical cable is the temperature sensor. Remember, this yellow one is providing power to the heating wire, and then this blue one tells us the temperature, not just in one place, but now in two places, here at the beginning of the pipe and at the end of the pipe. So this one goes in here, and once again, continuing that theme of lining up the grooves, you'll see this one is slightly triangular, and there is a triangular wedge there, and that lets you know that you have put it in the correct place. Well done, Alex. And then this one is going to come in later, in fact, right now. So here we are at the other end of the long pipe where we want the other temperature sensor to be, and this is the little gadget that holds that temperature sensor. So we connect that to that, and then we put the blue temperature sensor in there. Fortunately, no grooves or wedges or anything along. And now we're getting close to, remember, the destination was the baby. So there is a very small pipe, very small pipe. We're going to go through this again, don't worry, but it does actually make sense, and it's been designed well. You can't put the wrong, I don't think you can. I hope you can't put the wrong pipes in the wrong places. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting very close. We now have a heater wire in the long pipe. It has been very gently connected to the heater power wire, and we have the blue temperature sensor proximally and distally. And now this is called the Y connector. Okay, which bit connects to this? Is it that bit? No. Is it that bit? Yes. Okay. Oh, I expect this is looking familiar to you. That is what those are, the nasal cannula that actually go to the baby's nose. And now we're on the expiratory limb. I'm sure you know on a cold winter's morning when you breathe out, you can see lots of moisture in the expiratory air that's coming out your lungs. And so we don't want all that water ending up in our fancy machine, breaking it. So we have this gadget, which is a water connector. So expiratory, there are two pipes, and we connect them to the Y connector, and then this just lets the water come down and condense down there. So that has to be in the lowest part. And then let's see what we've got. Yes, we're getting close. Right, now for the fun part. This is where we apply the pressure that we want. Remember, CPAP has got end expiratory pressure. I could just block that off and that would do a lot of pressure, but I can actually use the bottle to regulate how many centimeters of water pressure I want. And so, okay, bottle we fill with sterile or distilled water up to this line. This is very important. This is the line against which we measure our pressure. So if the water is filled to there or there, we're not measuring the correct amount of pressure. Okay, and the lid goes on. And then this clever little springy type thing goes on the top. Okay, and then this is the pipe that gives us the pressure, so you just press that down so you can get your, oh good, another groove and spiky thing that has to be aligned, and now wiggle, 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 and on this side you can see numbers 5, 6, 7, okay? So if we decide we want 5 centimeters of water, we have it so it's showing 5 there, and knowing that the water's up to there, we know that this pipe is 5 centimeters below the water, and that means it's got 5 centimeters of water pressure. Let's say for some reason someone said, I want 7, we put it down to 7, and the pipe's gone down a bit more. Okay, so this gadget is sitting over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting very close to having set up our CPAP machine. Ta-da!